But we have all come across situations where, and it doesn't even have to be a podcast. It could just be social media, period, where things are perceived a certain type of way and it's not what it seems to be. So I think people should be careful when they are listening and they're following certain people because you can be led astray.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Pretty Girl Progression Podcast. I am your girl, Sherelle. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you stay. And if you have been here before, girl, welcome back. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Listen, today we have an extremely special guest. I feel like this is Miss Broward County, okay? Because everybody knows her. She is not only a host, a media personality, a Jill of all trade, a hustler, a mother, and she's just all around that girl. Y'all give it up for BossLady Key.
Hey, everybody. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing out there?
I've been wanting to sit down with you for a hot minute because we're in the same field in a lot of
Yes.
ways. So
Yes.
for the people who don't know you, I just want to jump in. Did I describe you right? Would you say you are like multifaceted entrepreneur, all the things?
Yes, I think that was a chef's kiss description. It really, you just never know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. You never know what I'm going to be doing later on tonight, next week, next month. I, a lot of times I don't even know what I'm going to be doing. It's where duty calls, I make sure the job gets done.
Facts, facts.
Yes.
What I do want to jump into is entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
So I want to ask, what's your favorite part of what you do? All the different things that you do, what's your favorite thing that you do?
Oh my gosh, my most favorite, I would have to say the most favorite is definitely the talk show. I love the talk show because it touches on different elements that aligns itself more with who I am on a personal level. I get the opportunity to get very pretty, so I get the opportunity to express myself with my clothes and my hair and my makeup, which is side hustles that I do on the side. So I do other people's hair and I do other people's makeup and I help other people get dressed. And then also I get to meet people. I love meeting new people, so I get an opportunity to network. And I also get a chance to give others a platform and a voice and also network with others. So it's so many different layers when it comes to the talk show. It's more than just talking about a topic. It has a lot of elements where a lot of the people that I meet, we actually become friends in real life and we stay in contact and we build not just personal relationships, but business relationships. So I would have to say that the talk show is probably one of my most favorite things to do for sure.
Yeah, I feel that. So we're going to get into the fact that your talk show gave me my most viral moment I have ever experienced in my life. Okay. Key is the host of Kickin with Key. And I don't know if you're like a partner with Be the Model, but you're also a part of Be the Model podcast
Yes.
production.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a viral moment. So what inspired you to actually start a talk show?
Okay, so this is going to sound crazy, but I swear to God, it's the real story. I actually met Be the Model Network, Teddy J, the director and owner, through an interview. He actually interviewed me as a rapper. I became a professional rapper in 2020 and he interviewed me in 2021. And after the interview, we kind of kept in touch and I told him, listen, if you ever need somebody to come back to the show, make sure you hit me up. And he was like, you were one of the best interviews that I ever had, whatever, whatever. And he actually ended up calling and he said, and this was during COVID time. So one of the primary
Wow.
host had COVID and he said they can't make it. Can you stand in for them? And I said, yes, I would love to. I couldn't even believe that he called. And a few days later, he said that the person we were interviewing was not able to make it to the interview. So I said,
Mm.
okay, keep me in mind. Thank you for calling or what have you. Then he called back a third time and said, listen, we've already booked the studio. Like, I can't get a refund. We're still going to record. Do you mind coming? And I said, what will we record if we're not interviewing anyone? And he was like, if you had a show, like, what would it be? What would you call it or what have you? So I was like, well, give me a second because I wasn't even thinking about this at all. Like, remember, I'm a rapper. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
rapper. I was working professionally at the time, and I also was a new mom. My daughter was about 2 years old at the time. So it was just an
I
out
see
of the
this.
blue opportunity. And I was like, well, let me give you a call back. And I thought about different names and things. And I was like, if I had a show, I would call it Kicking It with Key. And we would talk about hot topics. We would talk about fashion, love, relationships. And we did it. We talked on like that Wednesday. We recorded on that Saturday, and it actually had a very good outcome. And after we kept getting views, it was like 50 views. I mean, it was brand new. There was no advertising, there was no planning, there was no strategic plan. We just put it out there. So it was like
Mm-hmm.
10 views, 50 views, 100 views, 150, 200, and it just kept going up and up and up. So we were like, okay, people are liking this. Let's try it again.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried it again, and then it just kept growing exponentially. And before we knew it, we had done 10 episodes. So that's how that happened.
Listen, okay, whoa. First of all, God is very intentional.
He
God
is.
is very intentional, all about the details. And I always said, because, me and Key got to work together personally
Hmm.
when I was hosting something for content creators and I got to interview you basically on a panel.
Yes.
And I remember walking up to Teddy, and if you know Teddy, if you know, okay? He's so controversial in his own mind, okay? But I said, yo, she is a star.
Oh,
She is
wow.
like you say, chef kiss, like you have that je ne sais quoi, you have the energy. I don't know if it's the Taurus energy in you, but you just got it. You really
Thank
got
you.
it. So it brings me to the viral moment. I feel like I never get to address that viral moment.
Yes.
And this is the best time for us to just lay it out there,
Yes.
and then I'm done talking about it, y'all. Okay. Cause y'all done called us everything but a child of God in those comments, and we did not forget.
That is very
Okay.
true.
So just to refresh y'all memory,
Hmm.
you have girl talk and asked me to be a guest on the panel with
Yes.
Spice and
Moxie.
Moxie.
Hmm.
Girl. So the topic was a lot of different things. We've talked 50-50. We talked the $30 lunch comment, which I'm sure you guys have seen it everywhere. When you ask the question, like, what did you actually ask? Okay. Cause I feel like people took what we said and ran with it and didn't really listen to the whole interview. What did you actually ask us? And then I will tell you why I responded the way I did. Cause they ate us up.
To be honest, I don't remember every single detail. I have recorded so many shows sometimes. I feel like sometimes I almost recycle topics, but I do
Mm-hmm.
know that I did lay out a scenario prior to asking the question. So a lot of people just think that we're sitting there just talking about, counterintuitive things, but these are things that people actually face in real life when they are
Yeah.
dating. So it was inspired by a tweet that I saw on Twitter, and the young lady said that the young man had said that he would help her pay for her lunch that day. She was going out
Mm-hmm.
with her homegirls, and he said, lunch is on me. Like, don't worry about it. And when she checked her Cash App or her Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, whatever it was $30. And she said it turned her off. So I took that real life scenario and I said, you know what? Let me ask the other ladies to see how they would feel if a man was to send her $30 for lunch. And that's when, everything, the ball went rolling from there.
It
So the
went
question I
stupid.
believe that I asked was, would you accept $30 for lunch? Now, I did not say whether or not it will be lunch at work, brunch with your homegirls. I did not specify, but that was the basis of the question.
Yeah, yeah. So when I ended up watching it back, because I was like, damn, why everybody went in on us like that? At first, it was like almost two parts. You were like, if your man sent you $30 to go to dinner with your girls, would that
Yeah.
be enough? And then it got a little too spicy. I remember Moxie was like, $30, like dinner. Then we went to, it's $30 for lunch with your girls.
Hmm.
But then it turned to just $30 for lunch and period. Right. And I was like, $30. In my mind, I'm thinking, if he's sending me $30 to go to dinner with my girls, absolutely not enough. $30 to go to lunch with my homegirls, absolutely not enough. You're so used to going viral. How do you just build that thick skin? Because you be in the comments trolling people. How do you feel about the community response to you?
Um, well, I have been going viral for years. Before I even started the talk show with Teddy, shout out to Teddy J and Peter Bono Network. I was always very vocal and or controversial on Twitter. I
Mm-hmm.
don't consider myself controversial. I consider myself opinionated. I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and sometimes it does not align itself with societal norms. So for that reason, I mean, I guess in improper terms it is controversial, but it's just like I'm not afraid to be me and I'm not afraid to say what I don't like, and others are. So for that reason, I am known to spark some type of response from the public. So it's something that I was used to. It's something that definitely takes time to get used to. But I mean, over time you realize, first of all, you cannot beat the internet. There's literally a billion people in the world. I don't even know how many people there are in the world. But if I was to put a thought out there and majority of the world does not agree with it, I cannot argue with each individual. Also, you have to know that whatever you say, you have to stand firm in that. And there have been times that I have gone viral for something and it's like, you know what? Maybe I was a little wrong. So it's a little bit of like I stand on what I said, or I have a bit of self reflection to say, okay, maybe $30 is okay. And also it's like, what are y'all gonna do to me? Like at the end of the day,
Right.
not to sound arrogant or, like that, arrogant. Basically, what are y'all gonna do to me? There are
Nothing.
words, there are comments under a post. I don't have to read those posts. Like I'm on to the next thing. Like I'm already booking my next show. I'm already worrying about not even worrying. I'm planning my next move. I'm on to the next. Like you guys are
Yeah.
still worrying about that $30 comment. I'm trying to get ready for the next show and the next topic and the next thing. So, I do sometimes interact with the people in the comments and they may point out things about me that they don't like, but it's like, I don't like you either. So, I mean, at the same time, it's just like, you don't like something about me. Maybe I don't like something about you, but oh, happy
Yeah.
day. We all get to live and see another day. So, I'm not really a sensitive person in that regard. So I think that's what make it a little bit easier for me, and also it's something that I'm used to.
Yeah. I love how you handled it. And you did tell us, you was like, y'all just got to stand on it. This is what it is. But in my mind, I was like, first of all, that viral moment prepared me for like just having more thick skin because prior to me going on the show, I was like, God, I would love to have a viral moment where, when people get monetized, they make all this money and all this stuff. I was like, I would love to have a viral moment. Now, let me tell you, God is really like, that's what you want? Okay, bet. I did not ever think that I would have gone that viral. It's still going. I'm talking about millions
Still
of
to this
millions
day.
till this day, the platform. So thank you for that because that
You're
really
welcome.
built the thick skin in me.
Yes. And
Did
it's
you think
necessary
growing up,
too. Not to
say
cut
that
you
again?
off, but I think having that viral moment, especially with it having a negative backlash, I think that is important because with popularity comes fame, it comes notoriety, and it becomes public attention and public business. So
Yeah.
if we are working towards a certain goal to reach a higher height, those are things that we are going to face. And a lot of times it's not always something controversial. It could just be our everyday lives, going inside of pet supermarket and buying the wrong dog food, and everybody's saying, why is she patronizing pedigree dog food when they are
Yep.
known for whatever? So I think it's important that along the way to the top that you are exposed to certain things so you can be prepared for when you do reach the top. Because the
Yes.
last thing that you want to do is reach a certain pinnacle and not be ready or prepared for what comes with the territory. So, how I feel is it comes with the territory, you know. Maybe I'll be a little bit watchful moving forward, or maybe I'll still stand on what I say moving forward. But it, for me, I feel like it comes with the industry for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been at weddings before and they've brought it up to me. You know, people who I haven't talked to in years DM'd me about it. My family group chat was like, "Oh my God." So that really built a thicker layer of skin in me for
Yes.
sure, you
And it,
know?
you know what? It gives us space and opportunity for people to talk as well. You know,
Yeah,
we think that they're just everyday conversations, but it's clearly a lot of people had a lot to say about it.
for
So where
sure.
we're thinking we're as social as we are because we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok or wherever, people still have a lot to say about everything, everyday things, something
Yeah.
even as small as a $30 lunch. So I feel like we definitely made a shift in the world,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not it was women saying, listen, I love $30. Those men were able to see which women love $30 and which women don't, so they can then go for people that are like minded and are on the same playing level or mentality or have the same goals or whatever as them, and vice versa. There were men that said $30, like I sent my girl 100. Okay, like we're getting everybody in their groups now. We're getting everyone
Yes.
aligned because clearly it's a lot of misalignment, which causes for a lot of situations, hurt, pain, and failed relationships. So, to be honest, I love when they talk about it. I love when they're upset because it gives them an opportunity and a space to talk for real.
For sure. I
Mhm.
love that you said that. And to any woman who has a podcast, who like just stand on it, like he always says, and it just gives people an opportunity to have the conversation. Cause even though we on social media, and I'll close it out with this, even though we're on social media, we're not as social as we think we are. So these conversations be right on point where people can open their mouth, really give their opinion. And I just love that that happened. I needed that to happen. So thank you again for that. Yes. Okay. So let's get into this next segment, which I like to call the cultural vibe, the state of the culture. Now, us being podcasters, what do you think about the podcast community right now? Do you have any thoughts on the podcast community, the type of conversations that are going on? Do you feel like there's some people who need to drop their mic and not pick it back up? What are your thoughts on the podcast community?
I don't know how it's gonna sound, but I don't watch other people podcasts.
You don't? There's not one
No,
person? Why is that?
no.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I just, I'm not gonna lie. I really don't care about other people's opinions other than mine unless they're in my close circle.
Mhm.
I really have to trust a person or have a connection or bond with a person to actually actively listen and seek some type of counsel or insight from them. And it's best for me, for the people that know me, that understands me and is around me. So for that reason, I really don't have an urge to necessarily listen to other people's podcasts because it's like,
Mm.
I don't even know you. I don't know if what you're saying is true. I don't know if you live by your words. I don't know if you just research this and you're trying to portray a certain persona. We
Mhm.
see and we hear a lot, even with prominent figures, where they have a certain persona, and then when things are revealed or uncovered, they're not even who they claim to be. So, with that being said, I'm not really into, not to make it sound biblical, but like false prophets. So I
Mhm.
just rather not entangle myself with things that I don't know. I like chartered territory. I like things that I know, that I can really feel, that I can really understand, and I would go from there. Like, I listen to your podcast and the things that you post because I know you. I know what you stand on and I know what you stand for. So when you're talking, I can actually say, that is really Sherelle for real. I know her. This is not a game. It is not fake. This is real. But we have
Mhm.
all come across situations where, and it doesn't even have to be a podcast. It could just be social media, period, where things are perceived a certain type of way. and it's not what it seems to be. So I think people should be careful when they are listening and they're following certain people, because you can be led astray.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
with that being said, as far as the podcast culture is concerned, I don't have anything negative to say about anyone in particular. I think podcasting is really amazing because it gave us a different outlet,
It did.
because I don't believe that we were really built on therapy and counseling and, a certain type of communication. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what podcasting is segueing to. When people come on the show, sometimes they do get personal. I've had a person or two cry on the show. It's therapy, it's counseling. You get to hear others, others get to hear you. So
Yeah.
I have nothing negative to say about the podcast world. I will say that there are some podcasts that I don't watch, but they're in the timeline, so you have no other choice but to see them. I don't
Uh-huh.
agree with what they stand for, but at the same time, the women keep coming on the show. So how can I
Mm-hmm.
be mad at them for their show when the women keep showing up?
Right, right. It's so interesting. So I love that you said that because we're in this age of like what Cat Williams says, exposure, right? I love podcasting because it really is a business and it's an outlet for us to be able to like get our thoughts out, meet new people, and just expand our brand and our message, right? But you cannot always trust what everybody is saying. Like, what's the saying? Like they tell you never meet your idol because you end up becoming disappointed.
Yeah.
There's been people where I've met and I'm like, damn, I really wish I never talked to them because it was a letdown.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
there's people who I've worked with and I'm like, you really not like that in real life. You
Yes.
really ain't built like that. You don't move like that. And false prophet. So
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Um, the fact that you have a podcast, how come you don't have more of your music on it?
Because I like to keep things separate.
Okay.
I'm a very compartmentalized type of person. Now, of course, who I am as an individual shows up in all these different spaces, but
Mm-hmm.
I like me as a podcaster to be here, me as a
Yeah.
rapper to be here, me as a mother to be here, because in each space, I am a different variation of my
Mm-hmm.
own self, and I don't like those things to mesh, because if I'm having trouble or turmoil in one, I don't want it to trickle over to the next thing. So for me, it's best for me to live my life that way. It helps me
Yeah.
stay organized. It helps me see what is prioritized, what takes a back burner, and I just like it that way. I don't like the two to intermingle.
That
um,
makes sense. That
and
makes
that's
sense.
really it. But for the most part, people still kind of group them all together, because it's like, oh, you rap and you got a show and you do this, and it's like, yeah, I do, but anything that I get from, I like everything to be organic. So
Mm-hmm.
everything for the show is strictly the show. Anything for
Mm-hmm.
the music is strictly the music. Anything as far as who I am as an individual is strictly who I am as an individual. So I don't know. I'm that type of person. It's just, I've always been that way.
Did you grow up knowing that you wanted to do music or you wanted to be like this media personality? Because I feel like you always hear stories of like, I was dancing and singing since I was a jit?
Yes. So, funny thing is, as a child, I was always the person with the cam recorder. That's what we would call it. The camera
Mm-hmm.
recorder. I was always, making home videos and things like that. And I always loved to sing. Actually, I went to school to sing in middle school. I went
Mm.
to a school of performing arts. I had to audition to actually sing, because I used to sing in the church choir. And when I went to the school, I'm thinking we're going to be singing like Kirk Franklin, Beyonce. I don't even know if Beyonce was out at the time, but maybe like Aaliyah or whomever. And we get there and we're singing classical music, and
Mm.
we're writing music and we're listening to music. And I'm writing eight notes and half notes and things like that. And I'm like, what in the heck is this? Because in
Yeah.
choir rehearsal, we just had the lyrics and we listened to the song and we just sung it. So when I went and I had to formally learn how to read music and learn how to listen to music and write it and know the key and the notes and the this, that, and the third, it was new and it was uncharted territory, but it was definitely a beautiful foundation because it opened my ears to a lot of different things, a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
variations of music. And it was a foundation that I did not even know that I was going to use in the future. So I did have this feeling that I would like kind of be this star.
Come on,
But I
claim it,
never
girl.
really
You know
thought,
it.
huh?
You know it. You're a
I,
star.
I felt it, but to be honest, I didn't think music would really be something that I would do as an adult because, we're always taught, like go to school, get a degree, become a teacher, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to school and I did that. Um, and I never really gave music a real thought. Like, okay, I just do that on the side. Like it's just a hobby until it landed on my lap and I actually gave it a go in 2020. So yeah.
So considering everything in the state of the culture, right? When people
Yeah.
say no Diddy, and
Oh.
we know what's going on with everything in the music industry and the things that Cat Williams have exposed. How do you feel about like Hollywood, or being approached with someone saying, "Hey, I can make you a star"? What do you think now when it comes to being in that world?
As someone that is in the industry, I can say I have actually been confronted with those type of offers, and it's
What?
real. It's real, it's sad, it's off-putting, it's actually disgusting. But what I also can say is there are women that will play into it. So it's like, it's survival of the fittest. You have those that break and they do whatever they need to do to reach the top. Me personally, I feel like I have the skill, I have the talent, I have the know-how, I have the finesse, I have the intellect. I don't have to work my way up that way. If I only reach ladder number 5, then so be it. That's my destiny. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pivot and I'm gonna reach a different height in a different level, but in a different industry. But at the same time, I'm not going to. That's what I consider selling your soul. I'm not gonna sell my soul for an opportunity. If it takes
Come
for me to
on.
sell my soul, no, thank you.
Come on.
And honestly don't want to work with you anymore.
Come on.
And I have been presented with things like that, and it's like, well, first of all, what made you think that I would say yes?
Mm.
What made you think that? Second of all, no. And third of all, it's not a pleasure knowing you. Have a great life and don't want to communicate with you anymore. So
Mm.
I think everything that Cat Williams said is true, and I think it's just putting a magnifying glass to things that are accepted behind doors, and it's being exposed to say it's an end to it now. If
Yeah.
we're going to do business, let's do business. But you're not
Yeah.
going to dangle things in front of my face for offers,
For sure. For sure. I
for
love that you said it.
inappropriate
So
offers. Sorry.
what advice would you give to a girl who's like just getting in the industry? This is her dream and this is what she wants to do. What advice would you give to her? Or maybe like whether it be red flags or just things that she needs to prepare herself for?
I think first, it definitely starts with self. A lot of times we are always looking for outside factors, but it really starts here. You have to know
Mm-hmm.
what you want. You have to know who you are. You have to know what you are going to go for and what you're not going to go for. Because there are sometimes I've had to make compromises. There are sometimes I had to close my mouth, not for anything inappropriate. But what I'm saying is, you have to know what is something you're going to stand 10 toes down on, or what you can bend a little, or what have you. So that is important. Once you know who you are, what you want, and what you're going to do to get it, I feel like everything after that is gravy. But there are predators out there. There are people that want to exploit you or take advantage of you. I would say definitely have someone close to you that you trust and that has your best interest, because having that support system is going to be necessary. Just like with anything in life, there's going to be ups and downs, and you're going
Mm-hmm.
to need that soundboard to say, you know what, Kiki, you kind of took it a little bit overboard in that meeting. Next time, or give it a few days and maybe apologize. Or you know what? You said what needed to be said. Like, if they don't call back, it is what it is. At least you left
Yes.
with your dignity and your pride. So I think it's very important that we definitely do self work first. That is important, because when you don't know yourself, you will go for anything. You will never be
Yes.
happy. It doesn't matter if you reach the highest height. If you do not have peace within yourself, love within yourself, if you don't know what you want, it doesn't matter if Beyonce gave you an opportunity. Even afterwards, you're going to be sad and depressed when you get home and look in the mirror. So know what you want, know who you are, know what you stand for, have a good support system, and put your faith in God or whomever your faith is in, and you just ask for God to order your steps. That's it.
Yes. I
That's my
absolutely agree.
suggestion.
I believe like music, number one, music is spiritual, right? So knowing yourself first and foremost, because if you don't know who you are, you will fall for anything. You have to love yourself first, whatever they're dangling in front of your face. And you have to know that like everything comes with something. You know what I mean? It's always something. It could be good or it could be bad, but it's always something. But, music, everything is very spiritual. So ask yourself, like, what is this going to do for me spiritually? What is my relationship with God? What is God directing me to do? And if you don't have that as your foundation, again, you'll fall for literally anything and everything. So I love that you say that. And I'll end with this. I think independence is really important. You don't always need a big label to make it happen. It might take you a little bit longer to be independent, whatever music or podcasting or whatever it is, but it'll be really rewarding once you like get through it. So you don't always need like a big label.
You don't.
And that's okay.
You don't.
So
And wait, were we closing?
no, no, go ahead. Please
Oh,
say.
I was gonna say also I would give that advice to anybody, not just people in the music industry. Sometimes, your job in the corporate world could try you. Sometimes it can be a family member. Sometimes it can
Mm-hmm.
be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it could be your child. It could be your mom. It can be whoever. You got to
Yes.
know who you are and whose you are, and know what's what when you're navigating in life, period. So I think that's something that we all have to like get to the bottom of before we, start pointing the fingers at, okay, well, this person did this to me or that person did that to me. You got
Yes.
to start with the self work. And then also what I wanted to say was with the label thing, me personally, I when I did the music thing, I did work with the label. It was not a major label. I think, having a team is very, for me, it was the best thing to do, because
Mm-hmm.
with where I was in life and my finances, having that pushing and that backing and someone to handle the marketing or someone to handle this, that, and the third, it was definitely helpful. So I think you definitely got to find what works best for you, for sure. But like you
Yeah.
said, doing it independently, you're going to feel the most, you know, um, proud, because you know that you did it all on your own.
Yeah, and there's also resources out there, like someone that we know. There's West Tech. Like he
Yes.
does music, right? But he
Love
also
West
does it
Tech.
independent. Yo, genius. He does it independent, but he teaches people how to do like royalties and get their money independently. So there's always different avenues. Do what works for you. But
Hmm.
for sure, there's always different avenues. So I love that you said that. And it goes for anything corporate or family, whomever, for sure.
Definitely corporate. Don't let them people try you at them jobs, okay?
Okay. Effie, that's
Hello.
it.
Yes.
So I love that. I definitely want to have this conversation about motherhood.
Okay.
To me, you give very much grown woman. And I love seeing you with your baby girl, which I noticed you don't post her as much anymore. So I'm kind of curious if is that intentional or like it's just what it is.
No, I post her here and there. I've actually been thinking about starting us a YouTube, because a lot of people just love my daughter. They love me. They love the way we bond. They love the things that we do. I just haven't like really devoted a lot of time and attention to it. But my daughter is my most, I tell her all the time, she's my greatest blessing. She's my most prized possession. So I'm never going to hesitate to show her off. If I don't post her, it's just because I probably haven't like really recorded anything that I feel is like, I don't want to say postable, but like I record me and my daughter almost on a daily basis, but everything isn't
Mm-hmm.
like postable. Like everything isn't everyone's business. But yes,
Yeah.
I post my baby every chance I get. Love her to death, love her to pieces. She's my girl, my world, and everything in between.
I love seeing this, like I'm not a mom yet, but I'm in this era where I got a man. So I'm in this era where I am watching childbirths video and can't nobody tell me that a woman is not the most powerful being in the world. Okay. Like I give credit to all women, but a black woman, I've been watching natural home births. So, okay, take me through like you give for this is for
I
me,
would
y'all.
never do a
This
natural
ain't
home
for y'all
birth.
right now. This is for me.
Huh?
You did what?
I would never do a natural home birth.
Never?
Never.
Did
I
you
wouldn't
have
even
baby girl
consider.
naturally though, even if it was in the hospital?
No. No.
Epidural.
I got a C-section. I want all of my babies to be C-sectioned, but that's just me. I like it the easy way out. That's just me. That's just me. I get it. I get it. Everybody want to feel everything. I get it, but not me, baby. Go ahead and unzip, take it out, zip me back up, and hand me my child so we can be out the door. But
You is
that's
a
just
mess.
me. But proceed, proceed.
Okay, since I'm not a mom, I'm very much an auntie, a very active auntie, right? And I learned through my nieces and nephews that it really takes a village. Okay, so my brothers are the ones who gave me my nieces and nephews. So talk about like the village. I know you have your mom, you have some support. I'm not sure about like, your child's father, but talk about what it takes for a village to raise a child and what's that like?
Yes, like I was saying earlier about having someone around you that you love and trust. I even spoke on it when I spoke about the other podcasters and listening to them versus listening to the people that are in my close circle.
Mm-hmm.
My village is everything to me.
Yes.
Okay, because these are the people that know me, that love me, that understands me and want the best for me. Thankfully, my daughter has both her father and her mother in her life that loves her dearly. My daughter's with her dad right now. So when you guys
Mm-hmm.
see me, hanging from the ceiling, being in a whole nother element, that's because she's with her father. She worshiped the ground he walks on. I worship the ground she walk on. We like it's all love. It's all a beautiful thing, and
Yes.
it's all necessary because each individual person plays an important role not only in my life but in her life,
Mm-hmm.
and that is necessary for her to be a well-rounded individual, for her to learn manners and standards and values and expectations, and where I am one way, her father is the other way, and it all
Mm.
comes together and it makes her just, I listen, not to pump my baby up, but she's the best baby in the world. Like, you can't
She's a
tell me
star too.
otherwise. You just can't tell me otherwise. And that is because of the village. That is because of her father. That is because of me. That is because of my mother. That is because of, we have a neighbor that lives closely to us and she has a best friend and they're
Mm-hmm.
together. And even my neighbor is a part of my village as I am of her village. She may call and say, hey, can you pick up my daughter for me? Or can you drop her off to school for me? And vice versa. So everyone around me in my circle is so vital and pivotal to not just me, but my daughter's overall well-being and her upbringing. And it is really necessary. And for those that don't have a mother or even a child's father, you have coworkers, you have friends, you have neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Your village is whoever you select to be in your close circle. And it's important
Yes.
that you find those people and that you stick beside them and you love them and you show gratitude and appreciation to them because they will do it in return.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not sure if if like you guys are in a relationship or like you guys just co-parent well, but speak a little bit about co-parenting if that's what you do. How do you make it work? Is he fam or is he just like that's just my baby daddy and he cool?
Listen, I love co-parenting. I love co-parenting. You know what? I have a wonderful child's father. He and I actually spent 12 years together. We were actually engaged.
Wow.
We were on our way to getting married, but throughout the engagement process, we realized that we both wanted different things and we decided to go our separate ways.
Mhm.
At the end of our relationship, we got our beautiful blessing, which is my daughter.
Mm.
But we both knew what our responsibilities were, and we also
Mhm.
spent over a decade together. So I picked a good one. I picked a good one. He picked a good one, and it's literally like we right here with it. Like
Love that.
there's no tension, there's no beef, there's no miscommunication.
Love that.
He has his plus one, I have my plus one, and we all get together and we become four plus one. You know what I'm saying? So it's a wonderful thing. It's when I say like I love co-parenting, and this is not downplaying or reducing the traditional family structure of having both the mother, the father, and the children in the same home. I believe there is
Mhm.
great value in that, and I believe it's powerful, and it should be the ultimate goal of people that believe in it. It did not work out that way for me in my situation, but what I can say is that I have zero complaints when it comes to co-parenting. My daughter gets a bonus mom. She has her real mom, she has her dad, she get her little bonus stepdad, and it's all
Mhm.
love. When
Mhm.
it's the Christmas play, she got five people in the stands versus two. It's just all love
Okay.
and support. And he has someone that loves my daughter, and I don't want to say she's a good replacement, but you get what I'm saying. Like when I'm
Yes,
not there, I know that she's looking after my daughter. I know she cares
for
for my
sure.
daughter. I know that he won't have my daughter in any type of situations where she's going to be unsafe or harmed or unhappy. And same here. So thankfully, all is well
Yeah.
and God is good.
Okay, all the time. And
Amen.
I kind of cringe sometimes when women or men might call themselves like a single mom or single dad. He's very much so present, and I think you got to give credit to the other half when they're there. It doesn't mean like yes, you're not together, but I cringe when people are like, "I'm a single mom." Like,
I think when they say that, well, you know what? I think it depends on how they're saying it. I think it's one of those things that can be said two ways.
mm-hmm,
Because you can very well be a single mom that is doing it on your own completely, or a single dad doing it on your own completely, or you can be a single person that's a mom.
mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
True.
I'm not a single mom as if I'm doing it on my own, but if I'm single and I'm a mom, that terminology I feel like still is a good definition. But I definitely get where you're coming from. Like,
Yeah,
don't discredit the other individual, especially if they are in the picture.
for sure.
Um,
For sure.
I love my daughter's dad. He's damn near family to me. Like we got together in 2009, so this year would make how many years that we've known each other? This is 15 years
That's
now. So we're going
wow.
on 16 years of knowing each other and being around each other. It's literally all love. It's literally
Yes.
all love. Yeah.
What's the hardest thing about motherhood?
The hardest thing about motherhood, I would say, for me, it's probably when she gets sick. Other than that, everything else is like a
Mhm.
learning process, a beautiful process. Um, Things that you get to experience, learn, and grow from. But seeing her sick is like one of those things that is completely out of my control, and I don't know what's wrong, and I don't know how long you're going to be sick for, and why are you feeling lethargic, and why do whatever. But other than that, I actually love being a mom, and she's a great kid, so it makes it enjoyable as well.
Yes.
I was blessed to have a daughter that is mature. She's a forward thinker. She's very intelligent. She just took a standardized test. I mean, for a 6 year old, she got every question right on the math portion of her math.
Mm-hmm.
She's reading above grade level, and it's like I can only be grateful and thankful to God for blessing me with such a wonderful daughter. But like I said again, the village, her dad, my mom, my neighbor, my sister, my brother, her aunts, whatever. So it's really no real hard parts. It may be challenges, but everything is a challenge. Like,
Facts.
what ain't the challenge? Sometimes zipping up your damn shoe could be a challenge. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really a hard thing per se. But if I had to be real, if I had to actually lend something to the women to be inspiring, I would say the most challenging thing, seriously, would probably be if you're not having the best day in the world and you still have to show up as a mom. I think that's
Mm,
probably one of the most challenging things, because when you're not a parent, you can have a bad day.
mm,
You could sit in the bed all day. You cannot eat all day. You cannot bathe all day. You cannot do whatever. But when you have
facts.
someone that's depending on you, like that child still has to be to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. You still have to get them ready. You got to pick them up. You got to do their homework, take them to soccer practice, pick them back up, take them for dinner, ask them about their day, brush their teeth, get them ready. And this is all while you're going through, maybe you lost your job. Maybe you went through a
Mm,
breakup. Maybe you're sick. It doesn't always have to be something
mm-hmm,
so detrimental, but you could probably be the one under the weather with the flu. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So, if I had to say, I would say that would probably be the most
Yeah.
challenging of them all.
Ooh, I'm telling you, moms, I give it to y'all always. Like y'all deserve everything and then some. I feel like the government needs to just pay moms tax free $50,000 a month. Just period. Because
Hello?
moms, y'all really deserve it. And Lord, okay,
Say
y'all
that
stay out my
again,
womb. But
please.
when I have one, God willing, like moms deserve it all. And I know I want to be a better mom than what I experienced. So hats off to the moms who are doing what they're supposed to do and doing it proudly and boldly. So
Yeah,
Key,
you
on that note,
will. You will. As long as you're intentional, you will be that mom that you see yourself being. Trust me.
thank you, thank you, thank you. God knows, Lord knows. Key, I definitely want to thank you for being on the Pretty Girl Progression podcast. And I can't let you go without knowing, what does Pretty Girl Progression mean to you?
Pretty girl progression to me means knowing yourself, loving yourself, being patient with yourself,
Mm,
and from there, then we progress to the next level, because the foundation is self-awareness, self-love,
mm-hmm.
and knowing who you are. And once you do that, you can then pick the people that you want in your village. Once you pick the people that you want in your village, you can start a war. Okay?
Oh,
Because once you start that war, baby, ain't nobody gonna be triumphant as much as you. So you
yeah.
gotta know what you want, and you gotta know which battles is worth you fighting, which wars is not yours to fight. And when you
Mm.
do fight, you don't put your best foot forward. You do the best. Ain't no trying. We do what we gotta do and we get it done. That's what pretty girl
Ooh,
progression means to me.
oh my God. I told you, Key is a grown ass woman. Okay. You is
I
very
don't come
much
to
get grown.
play.
Okay. At all. Where can the people like reach out to you? All the things are going to be in the description below, y'all. I got you. Where could they support you and reach out to you, Key?
Yes, for sure. Actually, all of my handles are nearly identical, but on Instagram we have BossLady_Key. TikTok we have the same thing, BossLady_Key. You can also follow my podcast at Kicking It with_Key. Also, Girl Talk with_Key. And if you really, really want to see what I'm thinking, you can follow me on Twitter at BossBitch_Key.
Maybe that Twitter is
On
spicy. So y'all get
fire.
Y'all get with Key for sure. Like I said, everything is going to be in the description. Key, thank you once again. I've been wanting you on here for a hot minute. So thank you for taking the time out of your day and sitting down with little old me. I truly appreciate it, girl.
Little
Truly.
O. No, mama. You mean big O you, okay? Hello.
Big rail, not the little.
Yes. Hello. Correction.
I
Yes.
appreciate you. And y'all, if you guys want to take a listen, you can find me on all streaming platforms from Amazon Music to Spotify to Apple to all the things. Make sure you hit the follow button on all streaming platforms or YouTube at prettygrlprogression.com. And until next time, queens, love yourself.
Bye bye.